highest level when they have the right superstar leading the charge, as evidenced by their 2 trips to the NBA Finals during the Jimmy Butler era, most recently in the 2022-23 season. The heavy speculation swirling around league sources has been centered around the Milwaukee Bucks standout forward Giannis Antetokounmpo, with all signs indicating that the Heat will remain aggressively in the mix for the 31-year-old NBA champion until the very end. But the plot thickens significantly when you ask one simple question: what happens if Pat Riley and the Miami front office actually pull off a miracle and land the Greek Freak? According to CBS Sports' Sam Quinn, the Heat would immediately face a massive roster fit conflict because a team built around 2 big men with minimal shot creation would suffer from a glaring talent deficit compared to the absolute best teams in the NBA. This is exactly where the Los Angeles Lakers enter the conversation, facing their own intense pressure to maximize their championship window around Luka Doncic. The Lakers badly need 3-and-D wings to provide crucial floor spacing and perimeter defense, but the upcoming free agent market is incredibly thin and doesn't offer many viable options. At the exact same time, LeBron James, who still boasts an incredibly impressive and above-average offensive skill set even at age 41, wants to secure a lucrative payday. The reality of the current luxury tax and salary cap environment is that there aren't many teams positioned to pay James what he commands. So what if these 3 sides work together to solve everyone's problems? Quinn suggests that Miami could easily accommodate a decent-sized contract for the 22-time All-Star in a double sign-in trade by sending Andrew Wiggins directly to Los Angeles. The Lakers have been heavily linked with Wiggins since last offseason, and he could either opt in for a year or negotiate a multi-year deal to become a permanent fixture in the Lakers' rotation. Think about the historical magnitude of this potential move. James famously took his talents to South Beach back in 2010, hoping to win unlimited championships alongside Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. Although he finished that stint with 2 titles before returning to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2014 with an enhanced Hall of Fame resume, a reunion 12 years later would be nothing short of cinematic. Now, the chances of the Heat actually bringing back James might seem exceptionally slim on paper, especially considering he likely isn't even on their primary radar to start the offseason. However, if Miami suddenly decides they want to experiment with a terrifying Antetokounmpo-James pairing for the 2026-27 campaign, they could execute a move that would leave the basketball world in utter shock. From an analytical standpoint, while James spending another season in the purple and gold remains the far more realistic scenario, flipping him for a 2-way player like Wiggins could be the exact type of rotational upgrade the Lakers need to build a balanced starting 5. The front office has to weigh the emotional attachment of keeping a franchise icon against the undeniable defensive needs of a roster desperate for a playoff push. Is it time for the Lakers to close the book on the LeBron era and embrace a younger, more defensive-minded rotation? Or do you hold on to greatness until the very end?
Every championship contender has that one contract on their books that acts as an anchor, a financial hurdle that completely paralyzes a front office from making the necessary upgrades to push their roster over the top. For the Los Angeles Lakers, entering this crucial free agency period isn't a total disaster, but they absolutely possess some highly problematic contracts that they would love to get rid of immediately. The front office has actively tried to get creative with multiple players in the past to free up salary cap space, and we all know that not every one of those gambles has paid off. Right now, the brightest glaring spotlight is pointed directly at 7-year veteran Jared Vanderbilt, who is currently playing on a massive 4-year, $48 million deal. To understand why this is such a critical issue, we have to look at the severe limitations Vanderbilt brings to a playoff rotation. While he remains an above-average defender capable of guarding multiple positions, he is simultaneously viewed as one of the absolute worst offensive players in the entire NBA. In the modern league, if you cannot provide floor spacing or pose an offensive threat in the half court, you become completely unplayable in high-stakes postseason matchups. For this exact reason, CBS writer Sam Quinn strongly believes it is a necessary idea for the Lakers to finally move on from him. But here is where the devastating conflict arises for Los Angeles. Vanderbilt isn't scheduled to come off the Lakers' books until the 2028-29 offseason, when he finally becomes an unrestricted free agent. Because he is one of the few guaranteed contracts left on the payroll, any attempt to execute a blockbuster trade this offseason will almost certainly require his money to be included in the deal. The harsh reality of his offensive invisibility means means that rival executives view his contract not as an asset, but as a clear negative. If the Lakers want to acquire a legitimate impact player to support Luka Doncic, they are going to be forced to attach one or more of their 3 available first-round draft picks just to convince another team to absorb Vanderbilt's money. It's not an astronomically huge contract in the grand scheme of NBA salaries, but because he is completely offensively unviable when the playoffs arrive, trading him becomes a grueling negotiation of asset management. Any major upgrade the Lakers hope to make this summer will absolutely hinge on their ability to move off Vanderbilt's remaining salary. The absolute best-case scenario for this franchise is finding a trade partner willing to let Los Angeles off the hook for the remaining 2 years of guaranteed money. This isn't just about dumping a bad contract, it is fundamentally about roster construction and maintaining the future flexibility required to build a legitimate contender. The front office cannot afford to have $48 million tied up in a one-way player while desperately trying to surround their franchise cornerstone with reliable two-way talent. If you are calling the shots in the Lakers front office, are you willing to sacrifice a highly valuable future first-round pick just to erase this $48 million mistake? Or do you hold on to your draft capital and risk wasting another year of your championship window?
Could the ultimate missing piece to the Los Angeles Lakers championship puzzle actually be the very superstar they traded away just a few short seasons ago? Right now, the Lakers are aggressively exploring a multitude of different moves to upgrade their roster ahead of next season, an ongoing and exhaustive process centered entirely around maximizing their construction around Luka Doncic. Various trade speculations have flooded league circles, but the most earth-shattering proposal comes from Brandon "Scoop B" Robinson, who outlines a massive 3-team deal that would orchestrate the triumphant return of former Lakers star Anthony Davis. Davis, of course, was one of the absolute most vital contributors during the Lakers' legendary 2020 championship run inside the bubble. However, it hasn't exactly been a smooth journey since he was moved as part of the blockbuster trade that originally brought Doncic to Los Angeles. Injuries have heavily plagued the 10-time All-Star, limiting him to a mere 29 games since he departed LA to join the Dallas Mavericks in 2025, and astonishingly, he hasn't logged a single minute on the court for the Washington Wizards since arriving there at the trade deadline. Yet, at 33 years old, Davis remains one of the premier two-way players in the entire association, fully capable of dominating the paint, protecting the rim at an elite level, and stretching the floor offensively. The Lakers have glaringly struggled with interior presence ever since his departure, making him the absolute perfect complementary piece to pair alongside Doncic. But pulling off a reunion of this magnitude requires navigating an incredibly complex web of assets and salary cap hurdles. The proposed megadeal involves the Lakers, the Wizards, and the Utah Jazz. In this scenario, Los Angeles would receive Davis, highly touted young talent Ace Bailey from the Jazz, and 4 future second-round picks. To make this a reality, the Lakers would have to surrender significant depth in future capital, sending Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Knecht, their 2030 and 2032 unprotected first-round picks, the number 25 overall pick, and portions of pick swaps out the door. Meanwhile, Washington would acquire Lauri Markkanen, Vanderbilt, Knecht, and the number 2 overall pick in the 2026 draft, while Utah walks away with Trae Young and the highly coveted number 1 overall pick. The primary obstacle for the Lakers is figuring out how to absorb Davis's colossal salary, which carries a staggering cap hit of $58.4 million for the 2026-27 season. The outgoing salaries of Vanderbilt and Knecht simply will not be enough to accommodate that space, meaning the front office will have to pull off additional cap gymnastics. This is exactly where LeBron James's free agency status becomes a fascinating swing factor. If James departs, or if other players like Rui Hachimura are moved, the Lakers can comfortably fit Davis into the payroll. The combination of securing immediate championship viability while adding a rookie-scale talent like Bailey creates what Robinson describes as the most formidable interior-exterior tandem in modern basketball. Yes, there are massive questions regarding the heavy draft capital surrendered and Davis's concerning injury history, but the front office appears fully prepared to prioritize contention over caution. Does pairing Luka Doncic with Anthony Davis guarantee a trip back to the NBA Finals, or is mortgaging the entire future for an injury-prone 33-year-old a risk you simply cannot take? What happens when the exact player your franchise desperately needs becomes available on the trade market, but you realize your front office might be completely outgunned in a bidding war? The Los Angeles Lakers undeniably possess some valuable assets, but as they look to build a dominant rotation around Luka Doncic, there is a growing fear that they simply do not have enough ammunition to land the elite tier of players currently hitting the trade block. One of the most prominent names consistently connected to the Lakers in recent reports is New Orleans Pelicans wing Trey Murphy III. Make no mistake, outside of pipe dream targets like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Murphy is arguably the absolute best player available on the trade market, and he is fully expected to be heavily sought after by multiple contenders this summer. He represents the ultimate modern NBA archetype, a lethal perimeter shooter who provides switchable, high-level defense, exactly what a heliocentric offensive engine like Doncic requires to thrive. While it remains slightly uncertain if the Pelicans are completely committed to trading him just yet, the reality is that if New Orleans can secure a massive haul of assets in return, moving on from him wouldn't be the worst idea for their franchise trajectory. But here is the devastating conflict for the purple and gold. The price tag has officially been set, and it is steep. According to NBA reporter Evan Sidery, a handful of legitimate contending teams are already in hot pursuit of the $112 million star, and the Pelicans have let the league know their phones are open. However, for New Orleans to even entertain the idea of moving Murphy, the absolute floor for an offer must include a robust combination of first-round picks, high-upside prospects, and an immediate win-now contributor. This is where the harsh reality of the Lakers' current situation sets in. Unless general manager Rob Pelinka can get incredibly creative, it is incredibly difficult to identify which immediate contributors currently on the Los Angeles roster the team would be willing or able to move on from without completely gutting their own rotation. Furthermore, the Lakers simply